Yo, what's up guys? Today is a brand new video for Modern Warfare 2. Now, a lot of you are always wondering, what do some of the best players use for their settings? Well, although I wouldn't say I'm probably the best player, I'm probably pretty alright at the game. You know, we'll see. So, let's get into it. Let's have a look at some of the controller settings on Modern Warfare 2. There's little changes to previous COD titles, so we'll go over them in a bit more detail. But however, let's go through the list of what we are going to have a look at when you first load up Modern Warfare 2. So the button layout preset, obviously there is a lot of presets. There are even some for one-handed play, which I think is very cool. I leave mine on default. I've been playing COD for over 10 years now, so I'm very comfortable with default. I actually use a scuff pad, so I have buttons on the back, so I don't really have to change too much, as I can use these paddles on the back to basically change anything I like. I only use two paddles. I use A on the left and B on the right for jumping, crouching and sliding and all that. We can flip LB and LT, but we don't do that. We leave it as default. Controller vibration. Now this is all personal preference. I like to have mine off, so we'll turn that off. I don't need it. I don't have any rumble pads in my controller anyway to make it nice and light, so I don't really notice that, but off is always the most preferred. If you're playing for a long time, vibration is kind of annoying. So for aiming and horizontal and vertical, I changed mine both to 5. It's the default at 4, but 5 just gives me the edge of being able to turn on somebody without making it insane and feel like you're losing track of your target when you're just going on a left to right sprint and you're focusing down on your enemy. ADS sends, now this is something that you could change maybe to a 0.9 if you like to play on a higher sends, maybe 7, 8, 9s, even 10s. So when you do ADS, it just slows it down just nicely so you can get a better track on your target. However, I play it on the default of 1 because I like it to feel as natural as if I was hip firing, to get that very consistent aim assist, which we all know is definitely not broken and OP. Sensitivity multipliers, so you can change all these for specific game modes, like the third person game mode, which is back from the previous Modern Warfare 2 back in 2009. Yeah, it's been a while, guys. So third person back, and it's very good. I have a whole YouTube video on that if you'd like to watch it. Ground vehicles, air vehicles, tablet sensitivity. These are all very standard stuff. I haven't really dealt much with these. I don't really play the ground war mode, but as and when you do, if you feel like it's too slow, move it up. If it's too fast, move it down. It's all personal preference, this, and I don't think it's a huge step in sensitivities or any real settings. Vertical aim axis, all of these standard. You can change these to inverted if you're a bit of a strange person, or if you played a lot of Flight Simulator in the past. But again, leave these as standard unless you're a bit of a strange one. Aim down sight behavior, I leave mine as hold. It's that traditional COD feel. You hold the left trigger down to ADS and you release it when you would like to go back to sprinting, hip firing, everything like that. Toggle is more for players that have played PUBG. It's a little bit slower and a bit more of a methodical approach. The hold's definitely the one that you want to go to for Call of Duty. Automatic sprint is a tough one because if you've been playing Warzone like me for the past 2 years on and off, automatic tactical sprint is the absolute way to go. However, in multiplayer where you die so fast you don't have time to react, by the time you've come out of automatic attack sprint you're probably dead. So having this off is the best and most optimal way to play Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. However, we'll probably be banging that on to tactical sprint when Warzone 2.0 does release in November. Equipment behavior, I have mine on hold. Like I said, you can change this to toggle if you want, but hold is always just, I feel like, the best way to go and the fastest approach to playing Call of Duty. And if you're in skill-based matchmaking lobbies like I am, yeah, holding's definitely the way to go. Weapon mount activation, yeah, as standard for me is just ADS and melee. You can double tap ADS or simply ADS near a wall, but that gets kind of clunky if you're just trying to free aim and it tries to throw you into a mount when you didn't want it. Tap to reload, that's my favorite way because obviously you don't want to have any delay in reloading your gun because that split second can be the life or death of COD. And armor plate, apply all. Always just get it sticking in the plates. Again, this is more for Warzone, more than multiplayer. But again, having it here, it's there for the future. Target aim assist on. Never have this off, else you will play like a bot. I don't care who says they play better with it off. You don't. It's a lie. Have it on. Abuse it. Now, aim assist type. If you are a very good player, you can maybe have it on precision. If you are a bit of a newer player, have it on focusing. And if you find that you're really good at Black Ops but terrible at all the other Call of Duty games, they've actually added a Black Ops aim assist type, which will give you a more traditional Black Ops aim assist feel. But I like the default. It's standard to me. Like I said, I've been using it for over 10 years, so I'm pretty well keen to just having a hard pull, and sometimes I have to pull it a bit extra on target. But I like that because for the most part, if I'm slightly missing, I'm actually going to hit you. Aim assist, perfectly balanced. My aim response stuff, you can have dynamic, is one that a lot of the popular pros use. I do just use the standard, but a lot of the pros use dynamic, so I would stay away from linear, but dynamic is one that the pros would definitely go for. Again, ADS sends multiplier. This is, you know, I have mine at 1. That's where I would keep it. I wouldn't change that at all. The ADS sensitivity, so basically this is when you scope, if your ADS is going to change from when you're in zoom or as it's zooming or instant. Have this as instant. That's how you want to play the game. As soon as you ADS, you want that feel to kick in immediately. You don't want to have to feel like your gun's aiming in, then it's adjusting for your new settings. So have it as instant. That's definitely the way. So you can actually change these ADS zooms, so low zoom, more zoom. These are definitely for your war zones or your more ground war players. Again, I'm gonna have this as off. I want my usual field guns. If you're playing ground war, you're probably not going to use more than a 3x anyway, unless you're sniping. I would just keep this as standard. Get used to one ADS setting. Get ready for one ADS sends, and you'll be hitting more of your shots. Don't try and overcomplicate this. It's not worth it. It really isn't. People will tell you to change this setting, do that setting. Don't. Really keep it basic, and you'll hit a lot more of your shots a lot more often, and yeah, you'll have a lot more success. Auto move forward off. You don't always want to be moving forward. Sprint tactical behavior. Have it as toggle on off really quick. No really need to have it on hold. It just makes the whole feeling a bit more awkward. So I use double tap for tactical sprint behavior. Grounded mantle, that is absolutely fine. You know, you just, yeah, as you press the jump button, it will make you mantle an object rather than just jumping at an object, and it's a bit more fluid. Rather than just looking a bit like a twat. Automatic airborne mantle, then have this as partial, as if you was to jump to grab a ledge, it will grab it. If you know, it won't just go, oh no, missed it, and it, you know, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it there. Airborne partial, ground mantle off. Because if you're running at a wall, you don't want it to automatically mantle you over, because sometimes you're trying to sprint to cover and you're trying to hold that head glitch. Very important in COD, the head glitch. Don't let this not allow you to do that and jump over a wall straight into someone's gunfire and you're dead. Very frustrating. Do not let that happen. Slide and dive behavior, just have that as standard. Plunging underwater, plunge freely. This will give you a lot more freedom underwater. It's a lot easier, so definitely change this to plunge freely if you're going to be playing ground war or Warzone 2.0. Parachute auto deploy off. Sprint door bash on. Just get those doors slammed wide open. Just burst through. Always the definite best way to do it. The ADS interruption behavior. There is a lot here. I have it on interrupt. It's the best way. It's the best feel for me. Where instead of ADSing, you chuck a grenade and it'll go back into ADS. I then get the option, do I want to ADS and hold that angle, or do I want to do something else? So it's definitely much more fluid if you have it off and on interrupt. So obviously you got your usual weapon mount, movement, exit. I have it so if I move away from a mounted situation, it will just pull me off. I don't have to do any other buttons. Have it on short, so the delay is really short, so you just instantly off it. No long delays where you can get killed. Depleted ammo weapon switch on, because you always want it to immediately, if you've got no bullets, switch to another gun that can still shoot, because else you'll just be having the dead man's click, which is a very real thing. Quick C4 detonation, always the best way to go if you are messing around with those D4s. the vehicle camera recenter, just leave it a short delay, nothing to do here, it's absolutely fine. Camera initial position, free look, fine. Scoreboard, ping wheel, just leave them all as standard, no real reasons to get involved with that. Graphics, now this is something I'm not going to touch on too much because this is for the PC players really, and I will show you exactly what I have. Display, whatever. Now the quality is something I want to bring on. The fidelity cast, have this on and max it up to 100. You might lose a few FPS, but the clarity this brings is actually kind of nuts and will allow you to see those people on those pesky little head peaks very, very clearly. It's very nice. Nearby level of detail high, so everything close feels really nice and pretty. However, textual resolution on low, and so things a bit further away don't look as pretty. But if you look at the bottom right of the screen right next to the camera, you'll see if I go to normal or high, it really amps up how much VRAM usage. So low is really nice. You're going to get maximum frames, and that wins games. Particle quality on high, texture filter on high. So it's just making it look not dreadful as you played it, because nobody wants to play absolutely rough looking game. But it does give you all that FPS, which is needed, rather than dying because your game lagged, which is something we don't want. On-demand texture streaming takes up a bit more hard drive space, but just eases up on your computer, giving you a few more extra frames as well. Streaming quality on low though, again, this takes up a lot less VRAM, so it's just releasing stress on your PC to give you those frames if it can actually handle it. Shadow map resolution, I have it on low. It's shadows, nobody really cares too much. I don't really play for graphics, I play for performance of the game. A bit more of a moderate and balanced feel. Normal, ambient, I have it on both. SSR, yeah, in-game graphics when looking at a certain angle, just on normal, don't have it off, it just makes the game look a bit funky. NVIDIA reflex, I have it on. Depth of field, get this off, nobody likes it, get rid of it. World motion blur, awful unless you're playing the campaign. Weapon motion blur, unless you're playing the campaign, get rid of this, you don't want it. Film grain, whack this all the way to 0, it makes the game look horrific, and without it, looks clean and you can see everything. All right, this is a really important one, especially for controller users, even mouse and keyboard users. This is a very important one. Field of view, I like to play 105. Some people like to play more. This is a nice sweet spot for me, so I don't feel like it's fish lens, but also I can see a lot around me, so I'm not getting ambushed like the old days Warzone on console. ADS field of view, have that unaffected. It's definitely the way to go. This is a new one. The weapon field of view, I have mine on wide. It makes the gun look a lot smaller, so you can actually see a lot more around your character rather than the gun taking up so much space. You know when you got an LMG and it's taking up so much of your space, you're like, I can't see around the gun, man. It's awful. This makes the gun a lot smaller on your screen. So when you're ADS, it's just like regular. But when it's down to your side, you can see everything. So your gun's not going to block your field of view. And you won't get killed by players that were hidden by your big LMG. Third person field of view, crank this up to 90 though. You'll see why it's not as, it's just different from the FPP. Really nice, have it at 90, max it out. Vehicle, I have mine on default. It's, you could probably change that to wide. I would not go narrow. Just so you can see more around you, for if you're on wide, it's best. Now the real important one, the camera movement, get these on 50-50. If you have them on more, you're going to see more visual recoil. I've tested it and it is right. If you have it on more, when you're running around, it shakes. If you're shooting, it shakes. Have this down to 50, less shake on your camera, which means your shots just feel more accurate. It's just the same, but visually, your gun's not going to be bobbling around and you'll just feel like you're hitting more shots rather than going, where are all my shots going? Like I said, if you want to crank this up for the campaign, do so. It'll feel great. But for multiplayer, we're looking to get those frags. So turn that off. Audio, this is just everything down to your personal preference. I use mine on headphones. You can use bass boost. It sounds a bit funky though once you get a headshot. Other than that, don't really need to change too much on here. Juggernaut music, obviously on this ad. Now Juggernaut music, if you're using Juggernaut without Juggernaut music, you just, it's so foolish. Everything else, it's not really too much. You know, have the minimap. It's default by Square this year, which is great. You won't be called a noob by your friends if you're still running around, although there is the option to change it if you like to see less in the minimap. Anyway, Square is now default, so you don't have to worry about that. Player names, full names, but you know, player bracket names are not like they used to be. So again, yeah, that's what I would use for that. Everything else, accounting network, and then keyboard and mouse. I'm not going to go through that. I'm not a keyboard and mouse player. So those are your settings for Modern Warfare 2. Again, the controller settings are quite extensive this year, so play about with them a little bit. But for me, that is how I have mine set up, and I'm looking to dominate going through in Modern Warfare 2. All right, guys, that's been my settings. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.